here in Nigeria, a traditional ruler named by the army as one of the suspects wanted in connection with the killing of 17 soldiers during a peace mission in Delta State has surrendered to security agents. The Othir of Ewu Kingdom in the Ughelli South local government area of Delta State, Clementi Kolo, said he was surprised his name appeared on a list of wanted persons and that he was innocent. He described himself as a devoted Catholic who would never get involved in the killing of a human being.
The news that came out this morning to say I'm wanted, I'm on my way to the police to declare my innocence to the police. I know nothing about this heinous crime. I'm the traditional ruler. Yes, I'm the traditional ruler of a Yoruba kingdom. However, I know nothing about it, and I'm going to the police to turn myself in.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Jonathan Onoja, who's a security analyst. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I mean, what more do we know about this monarch who turned himself in and the circumstances and why he was fingered by the army that, you know, that he might be connected to the killing of those soldiers, which he's clearly denied?
Well, I think amongst all the suspects, so far he's one of the only person that have come out through first to come and present himself. Before you declare one wanted, there must be procedures. You don't just come out without any credible intelligence at your purview and they say he's wanted. So I believe that the army knows what they're doing. But very funny enough, he, instead of going to the army, who obviously declared him wanted, he went to the police. And I think, that does not, to me, go well. The army was looking for you. Soldiers were killed. And of course, you're aware, as traditional ruler, that this is what happened. You need to present yourself to not just to the police, but to the army. And thereafter, you can also be referred back to the police.
Well, actually, I beg to disagree with you, because I consider it a bit bizarre that in a democracy, in a country that's clearly under civil rule, that it's the army putting out the list of people who are wanted in connection with a murder and are actually going in search of them rather than the police. I mean, that's almost in fact, that is unconstitutional.
Well, we need to actually look at it from this perspective, and we must differentiate between morality and constitutionality. If you know that something is wrong, we must differentiate what is wrong before coming to constitution. And it is one of the reasons that we are not making headway as regards the fight against insecurity, because we want to hold on to to constitutionality against morality. If you know very well that there were killings in your community, and as a traditional ruler, what next were you supposed to do?
No, he gave himself up. He gave himself up to the right people, the police.
We are not disagreeing that. We're not disagreeing to that fact. But what I'm trying to say here is that there are people looking for you. And if also the police knows what to do, which we know they are the one to prosecute eventually if he was, if he's found guilty. But we are saying, first and foremost, if there is need for you to present yourself, and if you are looking for me, if Mr. Charles is looking for me, I don't need to appear before Mr. Sambo or Mr. Ferdinand. We must get this right. So we're not looking for prosecution yet. We are looking for, you are wanted. You've not been asked why you are wanted.
I'm sure the security agencies cooperate with each other. So I don't really think that's an issue.
We don't need to debate that, you understand? But I'm just saying that is going to be playing one against another. And I think we should stop that, that play. When you ask one looking for you, go for who is looking for you. And if eventually you are, indicted wrongly or whatever unlawfully, you have a right to prosecute.
Well, under normal circumstances, what usually happens when information like that is put out or a declaration of wanted people is made is it usually requires the person to go to the nearest law enforcement agency and hand themselves in. That's fairly normal.
That's fair enough.
So you wouldn't go running around looking for the army. You just go to the police station, hand yourself in, and then they will, through back channels, communicate with the army.
But that's not an issue too.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, so let's move on and not get bogged down in that. He's the first one to be arrested. I think you pointed that out earlier. out of that list of people who've been declared wanted by the army. Is there any news on the rest?
Well, I believe that his appearance also is going to make, get the lead way to others too, because being a traditional ruler, more reason he's wanted, so that he can give information about the people that have been declared wanted. The stays in his community, he have knowledge of where and where the stays and all of that. So he has a responsibility, he has a duty, to provide them as well, because as a traditional ruler, it's beyond collecting salaries and just, you need to be involved, know the people that stays under you, and then I tell you, if you get different communities today and you want to get result of any situations, go to the traditional rulers. They have a way to fish these people out.
And is it your sense that he is still under arrest at the moment, or do you know if he's been released?
Well,
I understand he's actually been moved to Abuja.
Yes, but I don't think at this moment he has been released. With the last information I got, but then and I also do not believe he was arrested. He's not, in detention. He just called for questioning. So,
so he's being detained.
Well, I can't tell whether he's detained, but I am sure he's called for questioning.
Right. So, based on what you're seeing so far, I mean, we've seen quite a lot this week. We're seeing the burial of these soldiers. We've seen the release of the kidnapped victims in Kaduna State, the school children and so on. Is it your sense that the security agencies are getting on top of the insecurity problems in this country?
Well, I think they are playing one against another. You get one released and you have others kidnapped. And so there is no balance in this operation yet until we begin to see that consecutively you have these children released. And most times, these people are not released by the security agencies. It is still out of negotiations, and not just like in a gun battle, you got these guys and then hand over to the families. It is still either ransoms paid or negotiations on table. So that we cannot give it to the security agencies yet. So there still needs for them to do more to make sure that we get some of those things out, because even as at yesterday, there are still actions on the innocent Nigerians. And we cannot continue saying, oh, the security agents are doing enough. What the National Security Advisor has done is confirming the arrest of the executives of finance agencies. And so what has that actually done to reduce issues of kidnapping and terrorism? So we need to do more. And I think I can't blame Mr. President, like one of your guests have said over time. We have the issues of the North killing the country, and so if we talking about insecurity today, it still lies in the North. If we talk about the traditional rulers and the traditional heads of the security agencies, it still lies in the North. Are you going to talk about the current Chief of Army Staff? Are you going to talk about the Secretary of the Federation? Are you still going to talk about the Inspector General of Police? Who are you going to talk about? The National Security Advisor? So I think it is the politics of the North still killing the Nigerian system, and we need to get it right at this point. If we don't get it right now, we will never get it right.
Well, in all fairness, I mean, there's crime across Nigeria, isn't there? People are kidnapped from different parts of this country.
The ratios, if you have to go into the ratios of the problem at the moment, you will not just say across the country. All that is happening still at the domain of the North. Either north, south, north, east, northwest is still at the North level. So we need to get it right from the North. This is what I'm talking about.
So you are, of course, a security analyst. What would you suggest as a way to get it right?
Yes, we need to get into the leadership of the North, the politics of the North. All that is happening in the North need to be the concern of the federal government. Regardless, whoever is in charge of any position, you need to be involved, because what is playing out in the North is that the pulling down syndrome, and then the politics of, if it is not me, nobody else. The Vice President came at the point to say that, look, what is happening even down to the economy, it is as a result of those who have lost elections. And then they're no longer in the times of election, they're in time of governance. So when he's talking about those things, he's talking about purely about those who have lost election, not even from the South or from the Southeast or the Southwest. He's talking about the North Central, the Northeast, the Northwest, the North. We must get it right from the North. What else do you want Mr. President to do? Haven't given you all the appointments to solve your problems. And then you want to still blame him again? The answer is no. The answer is no.
if you think the problem is from Kaduna, from Benue, from Jos, from Plateau, from any part of the north, from Katsina, Kaduna, from Kanu and all of that, the time to get it right is now. And so you can't give it. Have you seen any man from the south having any position that needs to solve the problem at the moment? Is it the office of the Secretary to the Federation? Is it the office of the National Security Advisor? Is it the office of the Chief of Army Staff? Is it in Defense? So we are doing it to get it right. It is now. If we don't have it right now, if we don't get it right now, the opportunity we have to get it right now is far beyond above Betty. And so if we don't have it now, it is going to take a longer time to have it right.
Very interesting analysis. Thank you very much indeed. Jonathan Onoja is a security analyst joining me here in the studio.